Special shout out to our sponsor of Russ Reals Live, the Boulder Falls Inn of Lebanon, Oregon. For more information on the Boulder Falls Inn and their amazing conference facility, call 541-451-1000. Hey everybody, welcome to Russ Reals Live this Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time here on the West Coast in Salem, Oregon is where I'm coming from. I don't know where you are because I know that you're all scattered all over the world, and I am just glad you're here tonight or today. And maybe it's tomorrow morning for you. Who knows? So listen, thank you so much for being here with us. We are here every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Russ Reals Live. This is an engaging show with amazing people on it. It is a topic-driven, panel-driven show. And I am so blessed to have so many great friends that are willing to come on, share their time, expertise, thoughts, and just have a discussion on different topics. And you know what? I am super excited about today because it's really kind of a tough subject sometimes, but it's really got a good, just a good overall theme to it, and that is joy. You know what? There's times when we don't feel good, we're not really happy, we're just going through some crummy times in life. But you know, how do we live with joy even through life's challenges? Because that happens whether personal or at your work and your business, whatever. We all have challenges. So how do we keep that joy? How do we keep that spirit moving on and staying positive, keeping a good mindset through even the tough times, keeping that good perspective about all that's going on? So I am just knowing this is going to be a great conversation, and I am just blessed. God has really blessed me with the ability to work through things pretty quickly and stay positive. So I'm excited to talk about this today. In spite of life's challenges, we're going to talk about joy through those challenges. So, but anyway, I want to remind you, excuse me, we are here. I need some water, obviously. We're here every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Russ Reals Live. And, you know, I love to connect with you and people in general because I love people. And the easiest way to connect with me is go to russhedge.com. That's russhedge.com. You can get all of my connection links right there. You don't have to go any further. All my social media, my email, my phone number. You can even schedule time directly on my calendar to Zoom with me, and I would love to do that. I'd also love for you to subscribe on YouTube because you know what? It's super simple. You can open another tab right now, click subscribe. When you go to russreels.live, russreels.live is going to take you directly to my YouTube page, and you will get some amazing things because on that YouTube page under the live tab, you're going to find all this amazing content with Russ Reals Live, Marketing with Russ, all those shows, and the amazing, amazing guests that I've been blessed to have on. You'll be blessed. They'll add so much value to your life. So do that today. Go to Russ Reals Live, subscribe on YouTube, and share this out. If you could hit that share button right now, that would be so awesome. Hit the share button, let people know we're on. We're going to have an amazing discussion today. And so, yeah, please let people know. And we are going to get this show going. Last but not least, I want to tell you that I have a book called Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. It's how to not live befuddled and to live the life you choose with a good perspective, with purpose, with intention. And really, as you go through life, good or bad, it is a great encouragement. And I would love for you to pick up a copy. You can go to my website at russhedge.com, or you can go to to Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Any online bookseller is going to have that. So do that today, and I'd appreciate that. So I think that's it finally. Okay. Well, as we're working through some technical challenges, we are going to bring Mark on first today. We're going to get this conversation started. Here he is, Mark Kageyama. Woohoo!
Yeah. Thank you,
Hey,
Russ.
how you doing, Mark?
I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you here. You are such an amazing human, and you have been through a lot in life, and through it all, you have come out with joy on the other side. You have purpose and want a reason to live. And I just love that about you. But before I get into telling everybody about you, let's back up and let's have you tell everybody who is Mark and what in the heck are you up to?
My name is Mark Kageyama, and I have a YouTube channel called To Be Your Own Hero. I'm a stage 4 prostate, bone, and lung cancer patient, been dealing with cancer for a while now. It's been actually since late 2020 when I started dealing with issues. And I've learned so much through the process of cancer. Um, for me, as crazy as this is going to sound, I feel so incredibly blessed to have had the experience of cancer. And, I mean, I do not want to ever have to go through all the testing and all the invasive things that you have to go through with the cancer journey because I had cancer in so many different places. Um, I'm doing so much better now. My prostate is completely healed, and there's no new metastases in my bones and in my lungs. And one of the things that I set for myself, my one of my goals was to wake up every single day, and no matter what the day was going to bring, I was going to make the most of it, be happy about it. And I took a one day at a time approach. And so that's the thing that has got me to today. Every day I thank God for another day. I'd wake up, I open my eyes, and I'd say, "Hey, thank you for another day," because and I started just putting all those days together, and pretty soon, single days became a week, and weeks became months, and now I'm to the point where those months have become years, and so I'm so thankful. And to me, life is so incredible, and uh, we need to embrace it and appreciate it. And
Right.
by the way, if anybody wants to take a look at an interview I did with Russ on my channel, To Be Your Own Hero on YouTube, we just did an interview recently, and I really appreciate that, Russ, and it was really good. And I think by now we both know how the other person is going to answer.
Probably, yes. But the thing is it's getting this perspective and this idea out to people. I think that it doesn't matter what you're going through. We're all going to have challenges, whether you have cancer or whether you just have a bummer day, right? I mean, there's going to be people with all kinds of different issues going on, family problems, who knows? I mean, just some horrible things and a lot of really good things. But through it all, I think you just need to keep that. I love what you said, Mark. One day at a time, one step at a time. Just keep, you know what? Thankful, being thankful, having a good mindset about where you are right now, right? Because hey, none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. So let's give all that we can to today, right? I think that's what's so important.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I
Yeah.
was going through a lot of treatments, and originally back in early 2021, I'd have to go through procedures and treatments. I was, three, four times a week. And if you look at that as a totality, hey, I've got this and this and this and this coming up this week, and next week I have this and this and this. I didn't do that. I took each day on its own, and I focused, and I would meditate and I would pray in order to get through that treatment, that procedure. And it worked out so much better for me to do it that way, because I was able to, after procedure, for instance, I would look back and say, "Oh, that wasn't bad. I made it another day." And then tomorrow, another procedure would come up, and I would, you know, meditate before the procedure and get my mind right and just get it relaxed. And a perfect example would be, I had this one procedure which I'm not going to mention here right now, but it's my least favorite procedure of all, and it's really invasive, and it's frankly awful. So I had one, and then my urologist set up another one several months later. So instead of freaking myself out, I just meditated and and I relaxed my mind in the waiting room, went through the procedure, and after it was over, I was like, okay, that wasn't that bad. And so our minds are like a computer. Our minds are essentially a human computer. So whatever we feed our mind, that's what we're going to absorb, and that's what we're going to spit out. And so if you put in positive thoughts all the time, every day, I don't have in my day, I don't have time for negativity. It's just not part of my program. Does negativity come into my day? Absolutely. I'm human. But when I have to deal with negative things, I get those things done and out of my life as soon as possible, and I move on, because so many people dwell on the negative, and it's not necessary. I dwell on the positive, and I
Oh
dwell
yeah.
on the things that are beneficial to me, and that's the way I live my life, and I know that's the way you live yours.
Oh my goodness, for sure. And the thing with that, it's interesting you bring that up because, you know, our thoughts are powerful. And I even put a couple, I used it for my word of the day on Instagram and my post on Facebook. I really felt like God had instilled in me this thought that people need to be cognizant and intentional about their thoughts, and their thoughts are powerful. And so, anyway, hey, Mark, I want to pause there for a moment because we want to get DeeJae in the show here. I think we're up and running. We're going to hope so, but we're going to give it a try. You ready? All right, here she comes. Hey, DeeJae.
Hi. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
We can hear you
Delayed.
great. Great, great.
Is
Yeah,
it
your video is a
delayed?
little delayed, but we hear you great, and that's the most important thing.
I don't
So
know. My
listen,
computer tired.
yeah, it probably is for sure. Well, let's just start off. Give everybody a little snapshot. Who is DeeJae and what are you up to?
Well, I am having a clearly a slow video day, but overall I'm good. We got to kick off the week together on Monday, and we're back tonight to keep that conversation going. I know that I'm such an advocate for people with disabilities and traumas, and especially mental health. And I love to encourage others to continue to live and move forward. And if we can be supportive or empathetic in any way, I always want to help others hone in on that and understand that compassion goes so far and you never know what anybody else is going through. So it's for me the way to live life and to just make it a better place for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, what I love about you, DeeJae, is, you do work with people in hard places and having some challenges and things like that. So I think a lot of times our topic for today, you're dealing with that with other people and what you're advocating for so much because it's hard
Yeah.
sometimes through all of that, and especially mental health issues, things like that. That is really difficult. But even
Mhm.
through what seems like the worst of times, you can always hold on to that positive feeling, that joy, even through that. How do you impart that to the people that you work with?
Well, one step at a time is something we talked about, just acknowledging the small steps, the small moments, and really just understanding that if you can be that person for the other person, then that's what matters, because we each have that power to uplift someone else. And
Yes.
if I'm not the one that's going through it, the least I could do is share my energy, share my support, encourage them to understand that they are not alone. And for me, that's always been a huge message, and part of my work is to making sure that people don't feel alone.
Yeah. Well, and you know what I think? I think with all of that, I think that, people sometimes feel, I think we talked about this the other day. People feel like they're on an island. And Mark, I'll let you speak to this, but we are definitely better together. And when we come together as community and able to support and lift each other up, it helps us keep that joy in life. And let me be clear to people, joy and happiness are two different things. Joy is kind of your inner being and how you feel about life and how you look at things, your perspective on things. It doesn't mean you're happy all the time. I could tell you when Mark was going through that invasive procedure, he was not happy, but he still had the joy of the Lord in him, but he was not happy about that. So, Mark, pick that up.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that, Russ.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
then
I wasn't happy that I was going through the procedure, but I was okay with doing it because I knew that it was something that I needed to help me.
right. Right.
So I mean, I was, it was just part of the part of the protocol, and
And
so I
yeah.
accepted that.
Well, and that's what I meant too. I meant it's not a happy procedure, but you can get a good perspective and mindset around it and move forward in spite of it not being a great thing, the actual moment there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had a choice. I had a choice from the beginning. It was either uh, walk away from the procedure and not find out all the things we needed to find out, or accept the process and
Right.
and go and buy into it. I wasn't fighting it. It was something that was going to be beneficial, so I was okay with that. I mean, was I happy about it? No, but I mean, I was happy to be alive. I was happy
Right.
to have the opportunity to find out about what these things that they were doing, and it was very essential to the process of me getting better. and
Right.
and so cancer treatments are are brutal. I mean, that there's no other way. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to say that they're fun, because they're not. But it's a means to an end, and the
Yeah.
end part is where I am today. I mean, not the end part, but a goal. It helped me to reach one of my goals, and so I had to accept that process.
Right.
And you know, every day I sit out, and I still that to the day, to the day today, is
Right.
I am so happy to be alive every
Yeah.
single day. I mean, every single day is a blessing, because when you have your back against the wall and you're staring at your mortality, which is the first time. I just turned 65, and so that was the first time that I've had to really deal with death on a real basis. Because when I was diagnosed, my oncologist basically said, she basically said, "You're going to die. I can't do anything about it. I'm going to try to help make your life more comfortable, but you're a goner." She said to me, and her words were, I suggest you get your affairs in order. And I was okay with that because in my mind, what she was telling me, I wasn't buying. So when I finally got my diagnosis, I was actually relieved, because now I knew what I was dealing with.
I love that right there too, because that is exactly how I feel about things. And you and I are totally on the same page, because knowing the process and what you're going through, what you're up against, and knowing where you're going to go from there, just like the surgery I have coming up, there's times in this whole process in the cancer battle where it's kind of floating out there. Nobody's made decisions. You don't know what's going on. You're going through treatments, and it's really, that's the hardest thing for me. And I think, DeeJae, what I was trying to get across when I said you're not always happy, which, like you admitted, you were not happy to go through that process, but you're happy about life and you have joy about other things, which is really the important, crucial element. But when I was just puking my guts out after this last treatment, and then when I talked to my endocrinologist yesterday, and he told me that the type 1 diabetes that I was hoping was going to be short term may be long term. I may be living with that for the rest of my life coming out of that treatment. And the things that happen, those moments are not happy, those moments of what they're telling me. But I have the joy of the Lord. I am happy about life. I am always pushing forward and staying positive. And I think that's the thing that people need to look to. Look to what's on the other side. Look to what are the positive things in your life, and don't focus on the negative things. Don't focus on the downtimes, because we all are human. We all experience emotion, right, DeeJae?
Oh, yes, yes. I think it's important to acknowledge all those emotions, the positive ones that we do want to reflect the best we can, as well as not negating the negative ones that we also feel. And as a person from a supportive standpoint, as being a support person as well, understanding that the emotions will shift. They can shift quickly, they can shift slowly. Every person's individual in the way that they manage and they deal and they handle what they're going through. And that we should be understanding that not every day is going to look the same emotionally, and that some days are definitely going to be better than others, and some days are going to be harder than others. And we must continue to appreciate and go back to those small moments again as we get through every minute that we can get through. So yeah, I mean, it's happy, like you said. I like that you said that it's just it is an emotion, and it can be a fleeting emotion, but joy really does come from the inside, and it reflects a lot on your perspective and your mindset as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think that is where both of you have such joy in you. And Mark, through your whole battle, you have just hung on to that joy of the Lord and kept, the zest for life and for having goals and all that you wanted to accomplish. And that has been your focus outside of the negative things that are happening. I feel the same way. I am glad to know what's going on. Am I happy about this surgery coming up? No, it's not going to be good. And so, I'm not happy about that, but I am happy that we're moving forward. We're taking care of the problem. I know I'm going to come out better on the other side, and I'm focused on those positive things in life. And, sometimes people might be watching and they might be saying, okay, wait a sec. I don't have cancer. I'm not divorced from my spouse. I don't have any horrible life things going on. But you know what? All of us have those bummer days. All of us have when somebody says something negative to us at work, or we crash our car into somebody else, or things happen, negative things happen, right? It doesn't matter big or small. It's what's happening to you through your life and what your overall perspective is. Because when I remember years ago, I got pulled over, got a ticket, and I thought to myself, you know what? There probably was something up ahead that I was saved from, that God probably spared me from some accident or some other horrible thing, and I just had to stop for a while. There's always a positive silver lining on anything that happens in your life. And I just want to let people know, think about that. And Mark, I'm going to let you take it from here, but think about, where are you going? I always say life happens and then you choose, right, Mark? And you made a choice. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, we're all human. We have a choice how we choose to live, how we choose to think, how we choose to be. And I mean, I've chosen, like you have, Russ and DeeJae, to be positive and and to have joy every day, because it just brings a richness, a true richness to your life, and a true reflection. We're all human. We all go through things, and nobody's gonna care what you're going through. Um, when I was at my worst, I had to have people help me, and I just talked to one of my caregivers. I had to have somebody cooking my food because I could barely walk. It took me 10 minutes to walk across my room, my bedroom. In fact, for 3 straight months, I did not leave my bedroom because I couldn't. I was so weak. And I heard something from one of my caregivers just a couple weeks ago. And she said to me, and she's just a wonderful woman and a woman of faith and everything like that. And she said the whole time that I, was there with you and help. I mean, she wasn't here full time, but she would come, basically during working hours, and would make food and would help me with different things and drive me around and things like that. But she said something, and it just made my day. She said, the whole time that I was with you, I did not hear you complain once. And this was coming from somebody who was so weak they could barely walk. It took me a half an hour to take a shower. And if I absolutely had to, I would walk down the stairs, but that event would take me 15 minutes because I was just struggling.
Right.
So it's a choice that we make every single day, how we are going to live for that particular day. And I think if we're more intentional and we choose to be positive for that day, wake up, tell yourself, hey, it's a great day. In fact, one of the greatest things that I experienced was, after 3 months of not leaving my room, was to finally walk outside my front door, and to open that door, a door which I had opened, countless times, thousands and thousands of times. But that particular time, it was different. I opened the door, and I looked around, and the sky was bluer. The, the leaves on the trees were greener. The birds were louder. And I was like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. And try that sometime if you haven't been outside for 3 months. Finally going outside, it was breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking.
Well, and I think that's noticing really all the blessings around us, because I say this all the time, and I truly believe this. The positives and the blessings of my life way outweigh the negatives. I've had a lot of, and you've had more than I have, but I've had a lot of lousy things happen in the last 8 months that I wouldn't want to wish on anybody, right? And but in through all that, I just continue to count my blessings about the positive things and making those choices. I love that. Be intentional, because I am that way every morning. I wake up And I'm thankful. First, I say it every morning, thankful, grateful for God, for my beautiful wife, for my family, for all the blessings. Number two, I always say, I've got this. I give myself a little pep talk. Hey, you may be tired, but it's time to get your butt out of bed and get moving, because God has blessed you with the ability to do a lot of things, and you got to get moving. And number three, I just say today's going to be awesome, because I decide up front that I'm going to choose an awesome day. Now, that doesn't mean I don't walk out the door and something lousy happens to me, but I can tell you it looks a lot better. It looks a lot bluer, a lot greener, a lot sunnier when I've already got that awesome mindset, right? It's a whole, and I can tell you, I wasn't buried for that. Well, buried's the wrong term, but I was not in my house for 3 months. But at the beginning of this diabetic part that I'm going through right now, I had such bad reactions from the cancer treatment to begin with, and then trying to get my blood sugar figured out. I really didn't go out much for a month, and I wasn't out much. So once I got out moving around again, it made a huge difference. And DeeJae, I'm telling you, I think that you have a really good perspective, because you're dealing with a lot of people at times what you're really passionate about with different problems. And it may not be cancer, it may be mental health, it may be other issues. And I think you have, um, don't you have either a psychology or sociology degree too that you use with things?
Yes, so I have a bachelor's in psychology, and I did
There
go
you
to
go.
grad school for mental health.
So, what kind of things have you learned through this process, not just through your training and your college, but in your degree, but through dealing with the people that you've dealt with that they struggle with the most, that you have to help them overcome and find that joy in their life?
Yes. So first of all, I want to say hi to someone in the chat. I want to say hi to Donald. Donald, thank you so much for being here. He is someone that I'm going to be working closely with this year, and I'm very excited about. Now to Mark. Mark, you brought tears to my eyes there when you were sharing your story, your experience about the sky and that moment, because it's so precious. Life is so precious.
Yeah.
And for you to have that ability to step outside again and walk through that threshold that you probably took for granted so many times before, and now to see it with a new perspective is really touching. And I find that this is very common in lots of stories of lots of individuals. And when they go through that, when they find that, when they feel that, it really does help them continue to move forward, because there's hope again. And hope is such an important part of that picture. There's opportunity once again is available, because once you, again, even metaphorically, if you open that door, physically you open that door, you know that there's a world out there waiting for you that now you can take on as you choose and as you're able to. As a person that supports individuals in these situations, to answer your question, Russ, it's listening. Just listening is such a key, critical part of it. It's not talking over them. It's not helping them to understand something that you think that they should understand. It's just about listening and just being with them in that moment, and not turning it into what you think it should be.
That is a total mic drop. And Mark, I think you'll totally agree with this, because what's happening to someone else and what they're going through is, it's trying to tell somebody what they should be and what they should do is not the right approach. Listening and caring. And I always use this quote. It's a business quote, but it applies so much to this. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, John Maxwell says. And you care for people by listening actively and really engaging in what matters to other people, not what matters to you. Don't drive your agenda on somebody else. Don't jump in and say, Mark, I had cancer and this is what you need to do. And this is the way you do it. Right. And this is how you come out of it. Well, great for you, but that may not work for me. I may be able to find joy another way. It doesn't mean that the principles are bad, but it's just trying to project that. And I think so often when you're going through rough times, and now, Mark, I'm really going to turn it over to you. You just need to listen and show that you care about them by just keeping your mouth shut, right? And just being there.
And that's, I'm glad you brought that up, Russ, because I deal with so many cancer patients and cancer survivors, and when I started my journey, what was important to me was to connect with cancer patients and survivors who had walked the walk, who had been there, done that. And because I felt it was critical to my personal well-being and my ability to move forward, to learn from the people who had walked the walk. Now, the interesting thing about cancer is every single cancer journey is different, and every single person is different. And so my approach with people is I lay things out on the table, and I say, here, this is what I've done. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not forcing you what to do. This is what I do. And if you could find benefit from the things that I've learned, then have at it. And if you really want a lot of help, I'm there. And the thing that blows my mind through all of this is the question I ask people who come to me. The first question I ask, one of the first questions I ask is, how bad do you want to live? And to a person, they always say, everybody always says, oh yeah, I want to live bad. But that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is what happens after that, because that tells me everything. And so many people, look at the things I've done and they say, wow, that's really hard. And I just say, hey, life's hard. But if you want to, come out the back end and survive, then you're going to have to do things that you may not like. And, that may include changing your attitude, changing your diet. I did a total, complete life change. And I'm so happy for it. When I started on my cancer journey, it was very confusing. It was filled with fear because I didn't know what I was going to do. And so what I did was I treated my whole complete being. And so I treated every aspect of who I was, of the way I thought, the way I ate, the way I would look at the world. And so if I were to look at cancer, and then this is me personally, I'm not saying this is for anybody else, but for me personally, cancer has been a blessing to my life, because without cancer, I wouldn't have learned these critically important things. I was just a guy who was going through life. I have a beautiful family, 2 kids and a wife, and was just waking up, going to work, doing what I needed to do, and looking forward to the weekend, and looking forward to vacations, and I always thought, man, there's got to be more to life than this. And so I'm thankful that God has allowed me to see so many important things that are really, really critical to living a full and complete life. And so for that, I am thankful for this journey. No doubt about it, because I deal with cancer every day. I deal with people who have cancer, and I just feel completely blessed by the whole experience. And it is my mission, because of the things that I've gone through and the things that I've learned. I am here to help people. I am here to help people understand this journey, to, whatever people need. And when I started my YouTube channel, To Be Your Own Hero, my original goal was to help one person. And, after about 3 weeks, one person came up, and it was a friend of mine, and he said, "Man, that video I just saw was really great." And it really has helped me to put things in perspective, because I've dealt with family members who passed away. And so I thought, wow, that is so cool. And I see Tim Sohn. How you doing, Tim? And I saw Amanda and everybody like that. It's so nice to see so many friends. But, as time went on, it went from one person every couple of weeks to one person every week to one person every few days. And now it's like all day long. I never dreamed that it would be this way, but I'm so thankful that I've had this opportunity.
Well, and God gives us opportunities out of everything that happens in our life. And, one thing that I was thinking about while you were talking, and I pulled this up, I don't know if you guys know Michael Ray, but talk about a positive ray of light in the world. But he had a post a few days ago, and the very top said, "Life is not perfect. Life is not easy. Life is good. Even when it gets real hard, God is good." And, I thought, you know what? That is such a good perspective, because, I even wrote one of my newsletters a couple weeks ago on this. What do you do when life gets hard, right? What do you do? What kind of an attitude do you have? And I just think that it's so important. All the things you said is that we keep that positive perspective on all that we're doing. We move forward, even when life gets hard. And that really makes all the difference, because we've already decided up front. We're already intentional about the fact that we're going to have joy in life. We're going to enjoy life. And I can tell you the same thing you said. My little thing I do every morning, I tell people about that. And I wrote about it in my book, not so that everybody can copy me. I did it to give people an example of what I did. And if it can give you some inspiration to do what works for you in life, do it, whatever works best for you. And with that, we're going to start a wrap up. And I'm going to go to you, DeeJae, first, and give your final comments. Let us know what your gold nugget of this conversation today is, and how does everybody get in touch with you?
Well, I don't know about a gold nugget, but I'm going to go back to the listening is such a wonderful thing that we can do to help others, to be there for others, and to show we care. I love that you mentioned that, Russ, because listening is often more difficult than it seems, and it's something that we often have to practice. I wanted to also say that how can we bring joy to others, since this conversation is about living with joy, but also from my perspective in this conversation is bringing joy to others and doing what we can so others can feel that joy even during their difficult, hard times. I can't imagine it being easy to find that joy. And Russ, you mentioned faith. Faith is often a very important part of someone's life, to find that joy, to help them keep moving forward with hope as well. And so everyone has their own beliefs, and we should respect their beliefs and how they handle their situations. But again, I'm going to go back to just listening and being there for those individuals in any way and any capacity that you can be, and listening to them on what brings them joy, and doing that for them. If it's music, if it's art, if it's just reading to them, if it's just sitting with them, whatever it is that they need in that moment, in those moments, in those days, in those weeks, in those months, just continue to provide what you can, the best you can, so they can continue to find that hope and the joy and continue to feel it and the love.
Yeah.
But I think that's where I'm going to leave it at. I think that's my part of the contributions to this conversation. If anybody wants to contact me, I'm on LinkedIn. Silver Fox Talks is the moniker I go by. You can find me anywhere under that because I love to talk, and this silver hair says it all.
There you go. And you do such a great job. And that is a fabulous contribution to this discussion, because we are going through stuff, but we have to be caring and compassionate about others that are going through situation. I can tell you that, Mark, as I go to you next, I want to tell people that, I have such a joy for life every day too, not just because of this cancer battle, but I almost lost my life at 19, went through a tragic car accident, ended up in intensive care with the trauma team, almost died. God spared my life. And then through what I'm going through now, probably not the only 2 times in my life he spared my life, but the 2 biggest issues. And, I look at that and I think, had I died at 19, I wouldn't have met my beautiful wife. We wouldn't have had our 2 amazing children that have touched and affected thousands of people themselves. And you just look at this, how awesome that is. And I love DeeJae, faith, hope, and love. I mean, that says it all, right, Mark?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm kind of, I got a good chuckle about the comments because uh, I join Tim Sohn showing up perspectives on cancer just about every week, and I'm always going crazy in the comments. I'm saying hello to everybody and making all sorts of comments, and I've seen Tim doing the same thing here, so I got a good chuckle out of that. So thank you, Tim. But I mean this whole what you're doing here is fantastic, and bringing together people to share about things that can benefit people, because everybody has a choice and everybody has their life, and life in and of itself is hard. And life is such a mental game in anything that we do. I always like to relate it to sports. If you take 2 superior athletes, the one that is going to be better is the one that has the superior mind, because everybody has talent in sports, but not everybody has that mindset. And I always go back to Kobe Bryant, because his mindset was probably the greatest mindset in the history of sports, and he always just had supreme belief. And so I always take lessons from everything in life, and from sports. I love sports. I watch sports all the time, and I always try to draw inspiration, and I always try to draw things that I could learn from. And everything that I do, I always try to learn and to absorb a lesson, because things happen in our lives, and things happen for a reason. A few weeks back, I had a crummy week with a lot of bad things happening, but then I had to take a step back and think, boy, none of these things even approaches, what I've gone through with cancer. So putting life in perspective sometimes
Right.
helps us to realize, where we really are and how much we've grown. So make the most out of every single day. I mean, it's because once that day is gone, it's gone. And that's why they say the most precious commodity that we have is time. And so we're all trying to get more time, and make the most of it, and make somebody else's day. Smile at somebody. If you're at the bank or you're at the grocery store, you know ask them how they're doing, because you don't know what that other person is going through, even if you know that person.
That's right.
Because we all have our individual lives and we all have our individual mindsets. So
Yep.
let's help make this world a better place by doing what we can as individuals, and that's how this world is going to become a better place.
And people get in touch with you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I do Instagram, but not that much. Also, we have a clubhouse room every Thursday called Cancer Conquering Community. It's at 9:00 a.m. Pacific, 12:00 p.m. Eastern, called Cancer Conquering Community. If you're interested, everybody's welcome. It doesn't matter if you have cancer. We have caregivers, we have patients, we have survivors, we have doctors, naturopaths, nutritionists, and every single week, it's just a really, really beautiful experience. And we've become a family, and we help support each other. And that doesn't mean that we've lost members because it's cancer,
Right.
but we all band together, and as a group, we're stronger.
Yeah, I love that, and you need to send me reminders on that because I want to be part of that, and I keep forgetting when it is. So, um, listen, I appreciate you both so much. It is awesome, and really having a zest and a joy for life is so important because we never know, and this is not a negative, how much time we have left. I just had a really good friend, and I'm not trying to end on a sour note, so I'll bring this to a positive conclusion. But I just had a really good friend, 41 years old, that had been battling cancer over the last several years, and she passed away just the beginning of this week, and it happens in the best of situations. But that doesn't, because we're all going to get to that point sometime in our life, right? We're all going to die at some point. I mean, let's just be honest. But the good news is we have today, and we wake up tomorrow, we have tomorrow, and the sun will be shining, the sky will be bluer, the trees will be greener. If you really keep that positive, awesome perspective on life and enjoy your family, your loved ones, your friends. And I want to tell everybody that we just love having you here. Thank you today. Thank you for being here. It's such a blessing. And the two of you, I can't say enough how much I appreciate you being in this discussion today. We miss Carl today. No big deal. We'll get him on another time. Yeah, but you two, what a blessing. And
Can I
hang
mention
tight.
one thing real quick, Russ?
Yes, we have about a minute for you to do
Okay,
that.
I'll get it in a minute. You mentioned something about somebody passing. I had somebody that I had interviewed pass. His name is Mark Zabrowski. He passed away, I think, on Monday. His brother messaged me, said he passed away. I put up a post on LinkedIn talking about what an honor it was to do an interview with him. So anybody wants to see it, it's posted on LinkedIn, or you can message me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it is. I mean, what every moment is amazing. I was able to communicate with my friend Jennifer, who just passed just days before she passed away. And so it's just an honor to know these people, and it makes us stronger. It gives us more zest for life. I think it does for me. So, and I hope all of you do too. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye to you two and wrap it up. Hang tight for me in the green room. I'll be right there.
Thanks, Russ.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Okay, another incredible discussion. Great topic. Sometimes people look at the negatives and get really negative, but let's look at the negatives and realize all the real positives and blessings in our life, and realize that they really outshine the negatives, even when they seem really bad. And even when it seems bad, we can find the good in any situation. And I encourage you to do that. And I encourage you to keep that joy in life. Keep your joy, keep your hope, faith, and love. Move forward. Make today an awesome day. Remember, we're here every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Russ Reals Live. So glad to have you with us today. And until we see you again, have a great day and a great life. Bye, everybody.